Hello students, welcome to Smart World, a school of complete education. Today we'll be learning in detail chapter number 3 from English, Autobiography of a Great Indian Bastard. So, what do you mean by an autobiography? An autobiography, let's break it into three: auto, bio and graphy. Word auto means self, something which is done automatically, self. Okay, then bio means life, biology, study related to life, so bio means life. Then graphy means writing. So if we connect all the three words with their meanings, we'll get the word autobiography means self, life, writing. So the word autobiography means something written about someone by himself. So the autobiography of a great Indian bastard is a story of a great Indian which is written by himself. So he's or it is narrating his or her own story in his own words, in his own voice. So I'll be reading it and explaining it. Which is the heaviest flying bird in India? Well, friends, it's me. So here the great Indian bastard is introducing himself by making a question that, do you know which is the heaviest flying bird in India? It's me, the great Indian bastard. He is very proud of himself, and he says that he has 30 different names in various Indian languages, and in Marathi it is known as Maldok or Hoom. It weighs 18 kilos and can stand up to 4 feet in height, which is almost equal to, if a human being stands straight, equal to his or her shoulders. Then he further describes itself that it has got a long white neck with brown wings, tall yellow wings, a black feather cap like a it has a cap like appearance, but actually they are feathers on his head. My wife Mrs. Bastard is smaller and slimmer. Now he's comparing, he's here the poet or the writer wants us to know that there is difference between male bastard and female bastard. So the male bastard is differentiating himself from the female bastard by introducing his wife. He says, my wife Mrs. Bastard is smaller and slimmer. So the male bastard is taller than the female bastard usually, and the female bastard is slimmer than the male bastard. And her neck is not white. The male bastard has a white neck, while the female bastard do not have a white neck. But I have heard humans say that we both look impressive. Both look beautiful, but there are certain distinctive characters which help us differentiate between the male and the female bastards. Now in the next paragraph, they tell us that about their habitat, where they live. So it's telling that I live in the grasslands and deserts along with my other friends, including, so now it is explaining his habitat along with the other animals which live in the same habitat. So he has introduced chinkara, blackbuck and larks, and he also tells about his eating habits, that he eats snakes, lizards and small fruits and berries and all sorts of insects. So, and he also tells that grasshopper and beetles are one of his favorite foods among all of them. Now in the next paragraph, he has described how he reproduces or give birth to its young ones, the process of mating. He tells that during the rainy season they all gather at their favorite grasslands where people don't disturb them, because people usually live in urban areas and grasslands are usually left barren. So it's telling that they find peace in the grasslands, and during the rainy season they all gather there, They dance and enjoy the fresh air, special feathery fresh air and special weather, and gulping air in the special feathery pouch attached below my neck. This pouch helped me produce a resonating sound similar to the one produced by the cow womb. So it tells us that it has a pouch below its neck where it gulps in the air. Gulps in means it swallows in, or it inhales air and collects it in his neck, and then it helps him or it to make a resonating sound. Resonating means similar to that of cow, like the cow does whom it also produces a cow like sound by gulping in air in his pouch like structure beneath his neck. I dance and joy with puffed out feathers and cocked up tail and drop down wings. It helps me impress my soulmates. So how do they attract their soulmates for breeding? It's telling us that how do they attract their soulmates for breeding or mating purposes. So it tells that it dances in joy with its feathers are puffed out, and its tail is also cocked up, straight, pulled and tough, and its wings are dropped down. So the females are impressed by that. You know that we birds lay eggs and our young ones hatch out of eggs. Mother Gib lays just one egg directly on the ground. We don't believe in building nests. So the bustard here tells us that they don't build nests, and unlike other birds, the eggs do not hatch at once. He's telling that the mother gives rise to only one egg at a time, and the egg is protected from the predators by a special trick, and that special trick is that the egg that they lay looks like stone. So the monitor lizards, foxes, pigs, snakes and eagles or other enemies which may prey on the eggs, they don't easily recognize the eggs as they look like stones, so they are usually ignored by the predators, and the young ones hatch out of the egg as the rain arrives, and there is plenty of grass and swarming with insects, fresh food for the family, and hence the young ones is taken care for nearly 1 year, and then only the mother leaves the bird for like abundant. It's not the usual case in birds. Like usually birds after laying their eggs they release their young ones, but in case of bustard they take care of the egg for at least 1 year, and then only they release the new young one free. In the next paragraph, the bird introduces Dr. Salim Ali. You may have heard about a great human friend of ours, Dr. Salim Ali. So, if you don't know about Salim Ali, Dr. Salim Ali is an Indian ornithologist, and ornithologist is a person who studies about birds. Ornithology is the study of birds, and he is also known as the Birdman of India. He has done researches and surveys over birds, and he was the first one to do so. So he is a renowned person, and therefore the bustard is calling him his friend because he has been knowing and studying for birds since a very long time. So he has even suggested that we should be given the status of national bird of our country. So the bustard is telling us that Dr. Salim Ali suggested earlier that the great Indian bustard should be given the status of the national bird of our country, but the honor went to the beautiful relative, the peacock. As we know, the national bird of India is peacock, and but yet he is happy that he has been given the status of the state bird of Rajasthan. So the state bird of Rajasthan is the great Indian bustard. Okay. Then he is telling that we have got 10 sanctuaries for our protection, but sadly our number is still going down. So now the great Indian bustard is telling that their number is decreasing day by day, and therefore in order to conserve them 10 sanctuaries have been built up till now. And he tells that we used to live in all parts of India, but slowly the growing population of man pushed us away more than 90%. So he is sad to tell this, that they usually lived in all over India. Like earlier they were found in every part of India, but due to man-made activities and over exploitation, the population has decreased of up to more than 90%, and they have lost their home regions. And they are afraid of the hunters that kill them for fun, and they also die due to electric power lines while flying. And therefore today they are losing homes, and only last 200 of them are left in the world, and he is asking for support. So he asked that, can you help us? So he says or suggests that you can write letters to your leaders and make an appeal to help us. You can make my drawing and submit it to your teacher. You can discuss it with your parents. So now the little Great Indian Bustard gives us some suggestions that how we can help him. He is appealing that we should help him conserve his population so that they don't die or extinct like other birds. And for that we should build in more sanctuaries and appeal to the leaders and talk to our teachers and parents about this matter, and make posters, drawings to create awareness. And most of it, we should not litter our environment, or we should not exploit our environment, so that these animals or these birds, their natural habitat is not destroyed. Like we have our homes, their home is the environment. To take good care of the environment, plant more and pollution as much as we can, so that these animals don't lose their homes and their population or their future is saved. So I hope you got the chapter well. Thank you.